Birds? Where? Hello. If you want to be a homebrewed philosopher, please get familiar with the origins of the ideologies and concepts you're trying to put out before opening your mouth, please. My head still hurts. Last night I was sitting on my computer organizing some files, what to keep, what to delete, because I'm running out of SSD space, and I got a message that you have to join to this Discord convo. I mean, this is pure gold. So I went in, and there were a few people I was familiar with already, and then there was this one Canadian guy who was completely serious when he was saying that it's possible to gain a priori knowledge through religion. No. But if you apply that theory into action determinedly enough, you'll get a pretty strong medication and a diagnosis for paranoid schizophrenia. Because what he was saying in layman's terms is that it's through religion it's possible to gain higher level of knowledge and understanding without sense experience of any kind. Well, if you look at it from a epistemology's point of view, which is a branch of philosophy, a priori knowledge does exist, kinda. For example, I was born before my brother, therefore I'm older than him. You don't need direct sense experience in order for that to be true. But in order for that to be true on this level of understanding and consciousness we're living in, you need to be familiar with two things: concept and context. You need those for that to be true. And both of those things are something you have to learn through sense experience. So it's an interesting question if we're thinking about it from a philosophy point of view, but if you want to make that the guideline of your life, yay. And I think, just by listening him talking, I think I know where he got that idea from. I didn't ask him if he is a Hyperion, but yeah, well, you can see for yourself. Go to YouTube or go to Google and Google Hyperionism, and you see what I'm talking about. Ex-professional illusionist and musician who decided to be a spiritual leader. And basically Hyperionism is just it's a mishmash of old school Satanism, misunderstood Nietzsche, kind of misunderstood and misrepresented concepts from mathematics and philosophy. That's all it is. And if you can think with your own head, it's pretty easy. It's very easy actually to see through that nonsense. There are good ideas sometimes what that guy is talking. There are good lines here and there, but if you look at his philosophy as a whole, or his way of thinking as a whole, it's pretty easy to see that it's all about money and power, really. So yay, another YouTube guru. We haven't seen those before, haven't we? One of my favorite things to do is to play around with different concepts and ideas from philosophy, psychology and theology, for example. And the reason being that all three are man-made, or man-invented, all of them. But at the same time, they're trying to explain, or things those three are trying to explain, have always been around in one way or another. For example, psychology, what behavior psychology tries to explain are things that have always been around inside of us, certain patterns of behavior, certain ways to react, and all of that. That's something that has always been. It's not something that's invented by man. It's something that's invented by, well, you can say evolution, for example, when talking about psychology. But when you're dabbling around with those kind of things, you have to be mentally grounded in order to see them analytically and subjectively. Because if your mental feet are not firmly on the ground, it's very easy for blind faith to take over, and you start believing into something that sounds convincing. You're not believing it because it's based on anything, kind of anything you can grasp, but it's based on simple blind faith. And well, that's not a bad thing. Blind faith is something we all need time to time. But if you start building your life, your own mental way of thinking, your own behavior, if you start building that while using blind faith as a foundation, in my eyes you're going to be screwed some point in your life. And that's why, for example, I've talked about Abrahamic religions pretty harshly in the past. But that's because religion is based on blind faith completely. If you can find, let's say, comfort from or through religion, from the empathy and this kind of universal love that, for example, Christianity is trying to put out, then go for it. Because then you're just anchoring yourself mentally into one thing, and that's not a bad thing if you choose the right anchor point. That's not it, but when people are starting to take what's in the Bible as truth, as one undeniable truth, then things are going downhill. But again, that's me. If you are a religious person and that's your way to see things, go for it. Well, it's kind of funny sometimes when people are saying that they are not a religious people, they are atheists. Well, you're not religious, but still you're an atheist, because that means that you don't believe in God. That sounds like a religion to me. And this is, well, once again, YouTube and the internet are filled with battles for and against. Is atheism a religion? Well, and in my eyes it is, because those people are saying themselves, or most of the people I've met who are firmly atheists, they're telling themselves like a parrots, I don't believe in God, I don't believe in God, I don't believe in God, I don't believe in God. Well, what difference does it make if you compare that to I believe in God, I believe in God, I believe in God, I believe in God? There is no difference, you're just on the other side of the net, basically. So, and I'm getting frustrated, not because what I said before. I decided to go for a walk because sometimes it's a good thing to be self-taught when it comes to music. Well, I had some piano lessons when I was a kid, but still, and I know the basic level music theory. But it's well, I have this one part, this one section that I'm working on a song, and the guitars are easy because it's just sustained power chords. That's fine. But then when you have a syncopated bass melody going all over the neck, and it's not in 4/4 time, so it's easy to play 1 2 3 4 gabba gabba hey hey, or 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3. That's easy. But then when you have a rhythm pattern that goes 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 1 2 3. So the first beat of a bar is constantly shifting, and I'm not sure if I even said that correctly, the amount of measures and beats, but still. So if you count 1 2 3 1 2 3 4, it's 7/4 time. So 7 hits, each hit is one whole note, or wait, one quarter note. in English I can't make it up. I can't explain that, but I think you understand what I'm saying. Quarter notes, single notes, 8 notes, triplets, whatever. But still, because 2 bars of 4/4 is just 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4, and 1 bar of 7 is just 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, and that's 1 bar. But now when you have those kind of a choppy rhythms, so it's not going to 7, it's not going to anything else. So if I would have a drummer, probably then I could grab it, because I can play with the drummer. That's not a problem. But trying to play with a click that you can, well, I would have to program each bar separately in order to have the right amount of clicks. Problem being that my brain can't process. It's just and a no, no, no. But I'll nail it eventually. But now I wrote that part with a keyboard, so it's not even wrote for bass, it was wrote for keyboards. But I decided that it would be a good bass line, or good bass melody, kind of a semi-lead type of thing. But I'll nail it eventually, whenever that is. And now it's a bit colder, actually, yeah, colder than before. But the weather has been all over the place. When you look at the news, I think it was day before yesterday, there was 21 degrees below zero in Greece. Okay, but the climate change is not a real thing. It's just a made-up bullshit thing that's been made up by, I don't know, oil companies or whoever, green energy people, whatever. But you can but it's quite easy to see even here that things are not what they used to be what comes to weather. Last summer we had, I don't know, was it something like 7 weeks when it was almost constantly 30 above. So it was dry, it wasn't even humid, it was dry and hot. And that's why some people asked me why I bought a 2-stroke scooter about a year and a half ago. Why not a 4-stroke? It's more silent, it's more it eats less gas, so why? Well, last year was a good example why I bought a 2-stroke. Last winter we had temperatures like 28 degrees below, and last summer we had temperatures 30 degrees above, so there's a 60 degrees temperature difference when you look at winter and summer, and I don't think a small 4-stroke engine can take it. I'm not sure if it does. But 2-stroke engines are robust. I mean, 2-stroke engine is the simplest form of a combustion engine you can make. So there are less things to go wrong. And that's why I wanted a 2-stroke. With 4-stroke, yes, it's quieter, it's more economical and whatever. But I just don't trust them. That's the thing. By the way, and now when I remember, I got a request after yesterday's vlog. I should talk about softer things and not things that are imaginary and that are trying to just cause fear. I don't know. What comes to yesterday's vlog, nothing I was talking about, it's not imagination. It's actually reality in one form or another, or those are possible outcomes. I wasn't just pissing in the wind when I was talking about social media. But that's kind of a vlogging 101. Talk about the things you're interested about, not the things that are popular right now. And I've always basically done that, and that's why I've been getting some crap, because I'm too difficult for some people, and with English even more difficult to understand. so my bad. But what comes to that, do what you like, not what's popular currently. You can take that assumption or that thing to, for example, YouTube gaming or YouTube gamers. There are people who are saying that those YouTubers who have switched from Call of Duty to Fortnite are heretics. Well, let's face it, what comes to gaming mechanics, Black Ops 4 is definitely not the best game in the world. I mean, if you're playing it, I mean multiplayer, I'm not talking about Blackout, but multiplayer, there are a lot, or there will be, if you play it, there will be a lot of deaths that you just can't avoid because of specialist equipment, specialist gear. So I do understand why there are certain mechanics in card games nowadays. It's because a bad player can get a kill. So those things are built into the game because even bad players can get kills. So yes, I like this, I'm getting, dude, I'm not negative. My KD is positive. So they'll come back. But at the same time, card devs are basically flipping the birdie for good players. Because let's say that you're on a streak. You're on this just going, killing, and then there's this one thing. It can be a grenade, specialist grenade that splits into multiple grenades. I don't remember the name of it. Or it can be a dog, attack dog that you can't even hear until it bites you in the ass. Or it's this little robotic thing that gives you shocks and stuns you. Those are things you can't avoid. Those are cheap gaming mechanics. And I'm kind of waiting for a game to play, because right now the only game I actually like to play is Destiny 2. And that's one of the main things I haven't streamed for about a month. Because Destiny 2 doesn't work with my way of streaming. It's boring to watch. It's fun for me to play, but it's boring to watch, I'm guessing. And Scum, well, when the game first came out, I liked it. Because it was pretty shortly after Just Survive was taken down, or servers went down. Another good game ruined by devs. But with Scum, the thing is that it's not a survival game. It looks like a survival game. It feels like a survival game when you first start playing it, but it's way too easy to get guns. So it's, for me, it all boils down to being a battle royale without a winner. So there are these big robots that are guarding the bunkers where the guns are. Oh, there are a lot of guns and gear in those bunkers. Those robots are easy to just go around. If you look at them for a while and take notes what their moving pattern is, it's easy to just avoid them. And those things should be harder. And they actually nerfed them once the community, or some parts of the community, started crying that those robots are too hard. They should be hard. It should be hard to get gear in a survival game. That's why I like DayZ. I don't play it myself because I can't get the controls for that game are just too hard for me. There are too many buttons, and I've tried, believe me, I've tried. There are too many moving parts for me. But I like to watch, just because it's hard to get gear in that game. Or if you know what you're doing, it's easy, and if you're server hopping, you're an asshole, but it still is easy to get gear if you just server hop or whatever, if you're playing on a public hive. But if you're playing on a one single server, it's relatively easy to get gear if you know what you're doing, but it's still not super easy. It's not spawn in and 15 minutes later you're all armed, you're all geared, ready to go, whatever your purpose is that you're going for. But what comes to Scum, it's too easy to get gear. It was same thing with Just Survive H1Z1. First it was hard, and just finding a pistol and 4 rounds. You were armed, I mean you were the man when the game first came out. But eventually there was ammo and guns everywhere in that game. And well, yeah, if you played it, you know what happened in the end. But there aren't any good games, and people have told me to play Atlas, and I don't remember what the other game was. It's a bit of like Warframe or Destiny, bit of those, but I don't remember the name of the game. Or was that Atlas? I don't know. But I don't like the third person perspective. I want my games to be first person, and that's why I don't play. Was it Warframe? Well, it wasn't Warhammer, that I'm sure. Warframe, I think it was. That's I think it's free to play. I've seen some gameplay and I didn't like it, but that's personal preference. But I want to play, but I don't have anything to play. That's kind of a problem I haven't had before. There have always been some games that I like to play, even well, let's say Battlefield, for example. That was my staple game for years, and now with Battlefield 5, Battlefield 1 was already quite bad when it comes to mechanics, and Battlefield 5 basically a carbon copy. They made a mistake. They should have made a futuristic or modern game instead of World War II, because World War I, World War II, well, there was a Call of Duty World War II a year ago, and now another World War II game with basically a large part of the weaponry were the same in Battlefield 5 than what we had in Battlefield 1, because a lot of weapons that kind of debuted in World War I, they had quite a big role in World War II, and when COD World War II in between those, it was too much, and people said it. I mean, if you look at the forums, people really talked out and were vocal about it, and they should be. And that's the plague of nowadays gaming, what comes to developing games. Back in the day when we had no internet, a company made a game, it was being published, and it was good, it was bad, or it was meh. But nowadays you can release a completely unfinished game with a promise that we'll patch it later. So if you think about Nintendo games, for example, if the game is bad, it is bad. If it is Dragon's Lair, it is Dragon's Lair. If it's Ninja Gaiden, it is Ninja Gaiden. And if it's Battletoads, dear me. And if you haven't, try to play Battletoads on 2-player mode. And try not to hit your playing partner at some point. But if the games were good, they were good. If they were bad, they were bad. If they were meh, they were meh. But nowadays, it's just easy to give promises. I mean, the game's not finished, and we have some bugs in the system. When it comes to Battlefield, those bugs have been existing since Battlefield 3, I think. And still they are around, but we'll fix it, we'll fix it. You shouldn't settle for that as a consumer. I mean, if a company releases unfinished games time after time, telling you that they'll patch it, well, that game shouldn't be released in that state. They should have patched the game before, but money talks and so forth, so games are being released unfinished because we need cash. Money doesn't flow until the game is out, or until people can pre-order it, those poor bastards. But still, people shouldn't settle to that, and that covers a lot of areas in life. Yay, battery died. What I was trying to say before camera died, that you can apply those things that I said before to, for example, a relationship. If you're getting involved with a semi-finished product that has some bugs in the system with promises that things will get better later, well, maybe they will, maybe they won't. But it felt that in some point in the past, getting a divorce was like a trendy thing to do. Like, I wanted my own individuality back. And in many cases I was like, okay, and in the process you threw 25 years of your life away instead of working things out as a couple. Yeah, good for you. And yes, I know I'm cynically sarcastic, because there are relationships, bonds, marriages that are just not meant to last for various reasons. But that was the rambles of the day, I think. And I need to get this uploaded, and then I still have some folders to organize, I think. I'll have to check. But anyways, see ya!